The NFT industry has been going through some problems, especially recently. Now, this issue's always been around, but to be honest with you guys, I think this might be more prevalent and worse now than ever before. That's right, we're talking about rug pulls, and this is probably one of, in my opinion, the most disappointing things I've ever seen about the human race in my entire life. Because rug pulls are, in essence, the most malicious thing you could possibly do as the creator of an NFT. This is the most cruel and horrible way to get back at people who ultimately have much less money than you have and are spending money because they trust you and your project. Rug pulls are absolutely disgusting. But unfortunately, no matter what we do, there's really nothing we can do to avoid them 100%. I have a pretty good track record. I've only ran into a few rug pulls, but there definitely is going to be, I'm sure, another. I'm not on my last rug pull, believe me. I'm sure I'll encounter another one at some point, and even the most experienced NFT investors run into rug pulls from time to time. So the question is, how do we find these? How do they work? And how do we avoid them as best possible? That's what I'm trying to show you guys in today's video. If you're new, drop a like, subscribe. Let's get into it. The first thing we have to understand is, what exactly is a rug pull? Well, it has a few different definitions, and I think some of which are worse than others. So the first rug pull, and perhaps the most mild rug pull, even though it is still pretty bad, it's just not quite as bad as the other option I'm going to mention later. But the first option for a rug pull is the idea that someone releases an NFT, sells out or sells a lot of them, and then vanishes. They're gone. The Twitter, the Discord may still be up, but they just vanish. They're not attentive to their project, and they don't hold up on their promises. Most NFTs launch with promises. They have some level of roadmap, some level of plan, and no matter what happens, they're there to stick with their NFT no matter what. When the ship sinks, they sink with it. They're the captain. No matter what happens, they stick with that NFT. In the instance of what I like to call a soft rug, this is essentially not the case. They decide to abandon ship, go work on something else, go buy another NFT, go get a job, do whatever. They abandon their project completely, and the people who are holding it are essentially left with a dead project. Now, I have seen this resurrected from time to time. I've seen the NFT sold to another group who, in a certain instance, may actually resurrect it, like, say, Ultron Apes on the Solana chain, which was actually able to resurrect their project, which was rugged. I've actually seen this happen multiple times. Soul Punks, which were originally launched by Solanart, were actually sold in the form of like a DAO, and then they created the Soul Punks DAO, and from there they've actually been growing and increasing their floor. So not always is there a rug pull. In fact, sometimes a sale of a project may actually be for the better. So if you're an owner of an NFT and you don't want to do anything with it anymore, try to put it in the trusting hands of someone else at least. That's the least you could do for abandoning your project. Like I said, I'm not a particular fan of this. I don't think it's a nice thing to do if you're someone who launches an NFT and makes all these promises, but ultimately it's not as bad as the second thing I'm going to mention. The second thing is, of course, the hard rug pull, which is where the wallet drainer that they have on their website. So you go to mint your NFT on a certain website, they have a certain drainer that goes into your wallet and takes everything. It wipes you of your NFTs, it wipes you of your crypto, and it absolutely destroys everything you own. This has been done before, and it is very, very sad. I almost had this happen to me multiple times, and I'll tell you how. Before I do that, if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to check out my Patreon down below in the description so you guys can see exactly what NFTs I am buying and selling and when I am buying and selling them. Also, you guys can get access to my private Discord chats, my exclusive NFT watch list, and so much more awesome content over there. To be honest with you guys, I think it's a steal for only $10 a month. Link down below. So here's the story about how I almost got me and my friend's entire NFT wallet taken from us. So essentially what I did was make the very naive mistake, and this was definitely a few months ago. This was probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago. I made the very naive mistake of trusting a DM from someone I got on Discord, and this is the dumbest thing you can ever do. Never trust Discord DMs. They are almost always unscrupulous. Try to get verification via email, via another social media, get on a voice call, get a picture of someone. You know what? You have to be careful. You have to not be afraid to ask someone, hey, can I, see some proof that you're the real deal? Don't be afraid of being embarrassed or feeling like a creep, because ultimately the worst thing that could happen is getting scammed from someone who's actually not the real deal. So what happened in my instance was me and my buddies actually had a shared NFT wallet. We didn't have a lot of money in here. This was just our time starting, thankfully, but it was definitely a significant enough amount of money that it would have absolutely sucked if we were actually rugged. So what happens is there's an announcement bot, supposedly a bot that DMs me and says, hey, the mint is live. Go to this Solana project, this website. This was a project we were waiting for a long time. And I go, oh my goodness, guys, the mint is live. Let's go mint it right now. So we're all in a Discord voice call, and I connect to the website. Sure enough, it is a fake mint site, and it attempted to take every single thing we had in our wallet. Now, thankfully, we had auto-approve transactions off for the wallet, so we were able to prevent some of those transactions from going through. And definitely, guys, it's the number one thing you could do. Don't leave on auto-approved transactions, whether it's Phantom for the Solana blockchain or if it is MetaMask for the Ethereum blockchain. Never leave auto-approved transactions off. It just isn't worth it. At least that's my sentiment on that. You might be able to get away with it, but I don't think it is worth it. So thankfully, we were able to salvage most of the things from the wallet, but I definitely learned my lesson. Do not trust people who pretend to be announcement bots on Discord, who pretend to be notifiers on Discord DMs. Never trust any of that. And definitely, again, be courageous. Don't chicken out when asking people to kind of prove that they're the real deal, because ultimately that will always be better than the alternative. Now, a great safety procedure to have when connecting to a website is actually to have a burner wallet. Now, this is just a very easy article I found on how to create one, but literally, dude, it's like literally a 30-second process. You go to whatever wallet you have. Let's say it is Phantom Wallet in this instance, and you hit add new wallet. You create a new one. It will give you a new address and a new private key. Make sure you're saving all that and you are writing it down on a physical piece of paper in real life. Don't tweet it out. Don't tell anybody. It's definitely a very sensitive piece of information. And if someone has those two pieces of information, they can log into your wallet from anywhere. So be extremely, extremely careful as best possible. But again, definitely write it down on a piece of paper in real life and keep that, because when you're connecting to a mint site, as much as it sucks the 2 Solana or the 0.3 Ethereum you may lose, it's definitely better than losing, 5 Ethereum or 50 Solana by connecting to a website with your main wallet. Now, another unfortunate thing about rugs is that there's really no way to prevent them, no matter how hard you may try, because tons of NFTs out there are anonymous, and tons of anonymous NFTs out there are actually the real deal. They're legit. I mean, there are a lot of people who don't feel comfortable sharing their identity, who don't feel comfortable revealing their face when creating an NFT. And again, does that raise some level of skepticism? Sure. And you should always be skeptical of every single project you invest in or communicate with. But unfortunately, when it comes to looking at NFTs, a lot of people who show their face, who show their identity, actually end up being scammers as well. So there's not that much you could do, but always err on the side of caution. Ultimately, the more information someone has revealed about themselves, the better. The more of a face, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that information definitely helps. Again, it's not the be-all, end-all. There are companies who have actually been audited, released NFTs, and still rugged, because some way, somehow, they were able to either go through a legal loophole or do that in a way where they did not face a lot of repercussions for doing so. So, again, it is so easy to make an NFT these days, and it is so easy to make a ton of profit that there really is no reason for these scammers to not get involved in this. It's the most lucrative scam in the world, and unfortunately, it makes it very, very tough for people like you and me to get around this. But I'll show you an example of a project I don't think is a rug, and I'll tell you why. So, here's a very popular project called Doodles, and it is my personal opinion that this project is not a rug. Again, I will never in my entire lifetime go without finding another rug again. I'm sure. I'm positive. I know that at some point in my lifetime I will encounter another rug, but I will do the best I can to avoid that. Now, Doodles, here's an example of a project that I do not own. I cannot afford a project like this, but I do believe is overall a safe project, and here's why. So, community-driven collectibles project featuring art by Burnt Toast. That is his alias. Now, first thing that comes to mind, they're verified on here, which is great. Activity, there are a ton of people who are purchasing these very, very, very expensive NFTs that definitely do have some level of stature, to say the least. But when we take a look a little bit at their social media, it tells you who it is created by, but more importantly, it tells you who this Burnt Toast fella actually is. So here is his Twitter, and he actually spoke with Fortune magazine. So that's definitely a start, a pretty credible magazine. And they talk about his name. His name is Scott Martin, and they mention that on the article here, and they go into a little bit about himself, about what he has created. So again, you are getting verified identity from a popular magazine. I think that definitely does help. And again, I think something like this probably means that this is a safer project in the long run. Now, another thing I look for is actually RadRugs. This is an auditing platform on Solana, and they actually have gone and audited projects in the past and basically given them a sort of rating of security when looking at them for a future mint. So they will tell you projects here that look good. They will tell you here projects that do not look good, that look like rugs, and they will talk about whether or not these have been confirmed rugs or not. So again, there are so many instances here of rugs. It's actually very sad to look at this list here on the right, because these are so many projects that people invested their hard-earned money into, and unfortunately were left with some very lackluster results. So they do have, again, a good amount of information here. I definitely would recommend taking a look at this before purchasing any project out there, because I do believe that they are probably going to be safer if they are approved by RadRugs. Now, funny enough, even with RadRugs, they have actually approved projects in the past that have still rugged, and Magic Eden has approved projects in the past for their launchpad that have still rugged. So Magic Eden actually has a launchpad on the Solana blockchain where you can go and essentially purchase that NFT through Magic Eden. This tends to be a safer strategy. It means that Magic Eden did a tiny bit of preliminary sort of work on the project, but there have been projects that have actually rugged, and the people have been hopefully refunded by Magic Eden. At least it's their claim that Magic Eden has refunded those people. So again, the problem is, no matter what you do, there are people who will show their face, their name, and everything, and no matter what, they will still shamelessly rug. So again, hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully this was some catharsis for those that were, upset about a recent rug they experienced. Again, it definitely does make me feel better to get this off of my chest. Again, the best we can do, guys, is to make the best judgments possible. Whether you're reviewing a project, promoting a project, buying a project, don't be so hard on yourself if you run into a rug, because ultimately you did the best you could, and that's really what matters. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you did. My name is Matt. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.